Hello everyone and welcome to this demonstration of Sourcing Brain, the new sourcing system for Stonebridge Group through Revolution. What we're going to do is we're going to run through how to source a product and how to put it back to Revolution. And then we're going to show you a brief demonstration of Criteria Brain and Affordability Brain, some extra functionality that you gain with this launch. So we're going to start by showing you the quick quote function. So as you can see, we're in our opportunity summary. We're going to go to quick quote with Mortgage Brain. That's going to open a separate window. It's going to bring us into Mortgage Brain. So this is our non-client specific details. Nothing is pulled through from Revolution at this point because it is a quick quote. What we can do is we can start filling in details and do a full sourcing, but I'm going to show you that when we do the integrated version. What I want to show you now is if we click Browse, this will give us a list of all of the products currently available on the market. What you can do from here is you can apply filters and groupings to narrow that down to look at particular areas, but effectively this is a way of getting a snapshot as to what might be available for your client. You can then add in extra criteria from there. But we're going to go back and show you the proper full sourcing. Just as a quick note on Quick Quote, this is the way you can access it without filling out the fact find first of all. Now we're going to close that. And we're going to go into mortgage requirements. So we've got a remortgage of a residential property and a buy-to-let purchase. So we're going to run through both of these. I'm going to show you how these work. So the only change in terms of how we get in is there's a new button here that says Sourcing Brain alongside where Trigold Crystal used to be. So we're going to click Sourcing Brain. From here, you'll recognise this screen from Quick Quote, but we're going to run through it in more detail. So you can see the purchase type has picked up that it's a residential remortgage and it's not a right to buy and there's not any adverse and etc. down here. In terms of lender panel, it will default to the L&G Mortgage Club lenders, but if you do need to go outside of that, you can change it to Stonebridge All lenders. I'm going to stick to L&G Mortgage Club for the moment. Over here we have our current mortgage pulling through. So this is really important as for product transfers, the current lender will be used to show the PT rates for that lender and only for that lender. So this is how you'd see your retention products. So make sure this is in here, but this will pull across from Revolution. And now we're going to click Source. This is our screen where we can see the client details. I want to draw your attention first of all to the boxes that have a blue border around the outside. This is throughout Sourcing Brain. These are the compulsory filters. They need to be included for you to be able to source. So just watch out for those. On applicant 1, you can see all the details have pulled through. For applicant 2, the salary hasn't pulled through. Now this is because self-employed income will not pull through from Revolution. You will need to include this yourself, and the best guideline is to match it to what the lender you're expecting to end up going with is going to treat it as. So I'm going to treat it as £50,000 and go from there. In terms of mortgage details, it's pulled through the property price, the deposit, the loan required, how long the term is, and the show cost over the 5-year initial benefit period I'm looking for. In terms of rate control, that's the wording Sourcing Brain uses for the initial benefit period. So as you can see here, we have it from 54 to 66 months. So 6 months either side of a 5-year deal in order to make sure we don't exclude any products that are slightly shorter or slightly longer. We have Criteria Brain and Affordability Brain here. I'm going to come back to those at the end to show you how they work, but effectively they let you bring in extra filters to your sourcing for an even higher level of filtering. In terms of initial rate type, that's pulled through fixed and it's a repayment basis. Then we're going to click onto our client details. Again, these are the more detailed elements of the client, so just check that these all look correct. The big thing I want to draw your attention to here is the override income multiples button. Now, Sourcing Brain operates on the income multiples that the lenders provide, the kind of quite traditional way of measuring affordability. Therefore, for a lot of lenders, that's not necessarily how they approach it anymore. They use a more kind of advanced affordability process. So we would recommend you tick the override income multiples box, and that will then take those income multiples out. And then applicant 2 is the same, and then we're going to move on to property filters. So for the mortgage details, again, they're all included. If it was shared ownership or shared equity, it would pull through there. The property details around the bedrooms, and then if there's any house filters around new build or ex-council house, that sort of thing. And then finally, product filters. This is probably the most useful page in terms of this, as this adds a lot of your extra bits you can include. So first of all, the fixed is pulled through over here, the fact that it's repayment. If you do need an offset or overpayments or payment holidays, you can set those here. In terms of fees, you can narrow it down to get free legals, free valuation. And if you're looking for if your client's looking to add fees to the loan, we do that by clicking Add Fees. And then from here, depending on what fee it is you'd like to be able to add, you can tick for it to be able to be added, and then if they do want to add it as well. And we'll click OK. I'm not going to look for any added fees on this case, so I am going to untick that, but that will be how you do it. In the attributes, these are some extra filters as well, things like foreign nationals, parental assistance, that sort of thing. I want to draw your attention to the help to buy equity loan and the no existing mortgage filter. The little stars here represent the fact that if you don't tick those types of products will not pull through. So if you are looking for anything that fits into those two categories, make sure you do tick those filters. Again, the rate control is here on the right. And I want to draw your attention to these three boxes here. So the max overhang is in relation to the initial benefit period and the ERCs not matching. So typically you're going to keep that as 0 months. But the max tie-in period is talking about the max benefit period in the first place. So if you were looking for a no ERC product, the way you would do this is by setting a 0 in that box. This will pull through from Revolution if you've said that, but just so you're aware, that's how you look for a no ERC product. Again, in this scenario, I'm not looking for that, so I'm going to take that back out. And then in ERC tolerance, again, this is talking about the fact that the ERC can run past the 60 months exactly because of the initial benefit period being longer. So for example, 63 months. We'll default that to 6 months, and I'd recommend keeping it like that. And then we're going to click results. And this is going to provide us with our sourcing. Okay, so now we have our sourcing results. Our lenders down the left. We have mostly mirrored Trigold in order to make this as familiar for you as possible. Initial rate type, initial rate for payment. FCA cost I want to draw your attention to. In Trigold, we couldn't correctly replicate the FCA's rules on total to pay. It was including valuations and cashback, which the FCA says it shouldn't. This FCA cost will not include those details, and if you do hover over it, if you're not sure, it will bring up the box that confirms exactly what is included and what isn't. So if you are ever confused as to that, you can check that. As I say, this is per the FCA changes that came in last year, 2020, and if you have any questions around that, please do contact your compliance team. Notes will just give you a brief overview about the product. Things like green mortgages will be mentioned in there. Rate control is the fixed period, final rate, and so on. There are additional filters to the right hand side that weren't available on Trigold that will be able to provide you with extra details around the costings. We're not going to go into full detail here, but a document will be provided to you that will explain how these work and how they're calculated, so how you can use them. If you do again have any questions once you're live, please do reach out. We'll be able to talk them through with you as well. But you can see there are a number of different elements and extra details on there. I'm going to keep it simple today, and Clydesdale as my cheapest lender I'm going to go with. So I'm going to click to include it, and I'm going to ask for an illustration. At this point, we'll double check that the details are correct. We always make sure we've recommended and all the client details are there. In terms of fees, if you're adding a fee, these will be on here. You can add them to the loan. In relation to broker fees, we'll go into setup. You can set the fee name, the fee amount, and there's a brief line of text that will need to be added around when the fee is payable. We'll provide that to you as a blueprint when we go live. In terms of these details, once they're saved, they will remain on there for every case going forwards. So if you do charge a regular fee, it will show there. Please be aware if you don't charge a regular fee, you will need to come back in and zero this out on cases. So just watch out for that. And we'll click OK. If you charge maybe $150 on application and $999 on completion, say, you could set a completion fee in there as $999, and then you have broker fee free if you need to. As I say, this will save from there. In terms of proc fee, on this left hand side there's a calculator. You don't need to use that. The details will already be in here on the right hand side. That'll all pull through directly to your KFI. You don't need anything else. Insurances, if there are any, and conveyancing details. And then we're going to go generate illustration documents. You'll see that the details are saving client and documents. While this spins, please just wait. Client and documents saved OK. This now means this is saved back to Revolution, as long as we follow the next couple of steps. Before I show you that, the ESIS illustration is your KFI, the schedule shows the payment schedule, the product selection report is our traditional sourcing, it's just been renamed, and the mortgage payment stress test report again is an additional document. All four of these will pull back automatically to Revolution as long as you follow the next steps, and they will all be stored under the KFI section of Revolution. Again, please do check, but these will all come back automatically. Once we've seen that clients and documents are saved OK, our next steps are to log out. We'll close that window. We'll go back to Revolution. You'll see this box will have opened asking us to download the data from Mortgage Brain, and we're going to say yes. It's going to collect the data from Mortgage Brain. This will just take a few seconds. We've now got our Clydesdale KFI back from Mortgage Brain, and you can recommend and choose exactly as you would have done with a normal KFI from the system currently. Okay, so now we've completed our remortgage residential. I just want to show you our buy-to-let purchase. So we're going to click once again on Sourcing Brain, and that's going to take us back into that same screen as before. You'll notice that it's a buy-to-let and it's picked up a purchase this time, in line with what we expected. And we're going to click Source. Again, all of the details have pulled through around income, except for the self-employed income, which we do need to include. For client details, again, these are all already completed. I draw your attention again to the override income multiples box. And then property filters, product filters. And you'll notice here there's a new section for buy to let. We're going to click into that. Here is where the details can be included around the expected monthly rental, the number of buy-to-let properties, and most importantly, the additional filters for buy-to-lets. So things like HMOs, limited company buy-to-lets, etc. So you can select those by ticking the relevant boxes. I'm going to leave this blank for just one moment just to show you what happens if we do. Please be aware this doesn't pull through from Revolution currently, so you will always need to complete it. I'm going to click Results, and as you'll see, because that box with the blue box is missing, it won't let us source. So I'm going to go back and fill that in. I'm going to say that the expected monthly rental is £1,200. And just before we hit results, I just want to point out this grey box here as well, the adverse credit. If there had been adverse credit on the case, then again, that would then be emboldened like buy-to-let, and we'd be able to fill in details on there. Again, these do pull through from Revolution if it is an adverse credit case. And then we're going to click Results. And here are our sourcing results again. Very similar looking to the residential case. Again, we can pan across to look at our different columns. One of the areas I want to show you at this point is our View Unmatched button. Now, unlike Trigold, where you could not tell why something hadn't sourced, Mortgage Brain does tell you why a product is not applicable. And the way you can find that out is by coming up here to View Unmatched. If you click on that box, it will resort the sourcing, showing you the products that haven't sourced. Now, obviously, the majority of these are going to be products that are the wrong initial benefit period, the wrong type, but there will sometimes be a case where you might think, oh, I'm not sure why that one's not showing. And it could be that the LTV is too high, but you can come in here and check what it is. Could it be that the applicant too is too young? Things like that. So I think that's a really great tool to be able to work out why something isn't sourcing. Maybe you've miskeyed something, maybe there's something you weren't aware of in terms of the product. So you can find out all of that information here. We're going to go back to our View Match now. Once we're in here, one thing I would like to show you as well is with the product, if we click on the Show Details button, our details will pop out where we can check all of the details of the product, things like the fees that are applicable on it, and all of those sorts of things. So you can check all of those there without having to view the actual KFI. The final thing I want to show you on this screen is the advanced filters. The advanced filters, if we click on, allow us to sort and filter by any of the areas we've got above. Now, the time you're most likely to use this is in relation to product fees. If we are looking for a product that has no product fees, if you select no upfront fee, it will discard everything that has any kind of upfront fee, not just product fees. So this is how we take out just those products. If we select the advanced filters as we have, come to product fee and we set it to 0 and click off of it, that will resort the results and only give us products that have no product fee. So we'll then be able to pull through a KFI from there. Once again, we'll select Santander, we'll select illustration. We don't need to complete the details or the fees or the proc fee, and we'll generate illustration documents. Once again, we wait for the saving client and documents to come back. We have our key facts illustration, and now we're going to log out. Please do log out. We'll close that window, and once again we will download the data from Mortgage Brain. It's worth mentioning at this point, while this one comes back, do not click download the data for Mortgage Brain until you have logged out of Mortgage Brain, or it won't link. Similar to how we had to close TryGold down fully, we have to log out of Mortgage Brain before the data will come back, so please make sure you do that and don't click it too soon. You can see that spinning there, took around about 20 seconds, and the product is now there for Santander. And again, you can recommend and choose that exactly as you currently do. As mentioned earlier on, you will also gain access to Criteria Brain and Affordability Brain as part of this launch. There's two ways you can access this. You can either click on these two links that will take you directly through. You can fill out your criteria and then pull them back, which will help you resort your sourcing in line with that criteria. Or you can also access it standalone and your logins will have been sent to you at launch. Both versions will look like this. So this is our landing page for Criteria Brain. The way we search criteria is we're going to select residential for this case, but it does do buy-to-let as well. We'd select residential, and then from here there are hundreds of different criteria you can use. So I'm going to use as an example an expat. I'd select that. That will refresh, and that will give me all of the lenders that accept expats, and then all the lenders that won't, and it will tell me why they won't and such going forwards. So you can use this very quickly to search a lot of different criteria, and as I mentioned, there's hundreds of different criteria fields that you can use to better source your sourcing. Good to know is they're handy that people also sourced for employment, income, foreign currency in that scenario, so things that go together often will be advertised there. We will cover Criteria Brain in more detail going forwards in a separate video. We can also log in separately to Affordability Brain, or you can click on this link here to take you in. This is what Affordability Brain looks like when you land on it. So we're going to start a new search. And this gives you all the different areas you need to complete in order to be able to get an affordability check. I have pre-filled in this section, as you can see as we work down. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to say that I'd like to select all lenders. This will check the lender's policy, confirm we're good to go, and we'll go next again and calculate. Now at this point, it'll begin to process our lenders. So you'll see at the moment it's working out all of the affordability checks for each of these lenders, and it'll give us a progress update as we go. So we'll just let it do that. Once those are all done, you'll see the results coming up on the screen as it is, as you can see here. So the green side of things confirms that it meets my requirements, and the fact that actually they'd lend far beyond what I was looking for. So I was looking for 150,000 in this example. So all of these lenders are willing to lend to that amount and then beyond up to the red bars. So we could stretch our affordability there. I've gone for fairly easy criteria on this scenario, so that's why all the lenders are happy. But this will give you an accurate representation of their affordability calculators. As I say, there will be additional training on Criteria Brain and Affordability Brain going forwards, separate from this video. Thank you very much for joining us on this demonstration. If you do have any technical questions, please do contact your partner support or your business development team, or for any compliance queries, contact your business standards team. Thank you very much.